Hi, friends. Thank you for joining us today. Again, this is Sunil Chandy for Food for Thought, a program out of Christ Episcopal Church in Westerly. And we want to thank you for being with us. And if you are here with us today, please be sure to say hello to us. We know that some people, I know that I could see some people already watching. So just say hello so that we could connect with you and you could connect with us and all of everyone here. Namaste, Betsy. Thank you. Thank you. Betsy is our senior warden and, of course, a great supporter of all the ministries of Christ Church, and especially this one, and a wonderful senior warden she is. And so there are, and folks, if you are here, just say say hello. We have a wonderful guest today as well. This is a person that many of us know. And this person is a part of our community, grew up in this community. And of course, I didn't know her until about maybe 4 or 5 years ago, but many in the chorus and the choir, Christ Church choir, and of course, Westerly and in Stonington, and they know of this person and have enjoyed watching her grow up. So today, before I introduce her to you, because I want to keep this kind of, the suspense running up a little bit, before we go into introducing her, I did want to talk to you a little bit about a food for thought. And it comes from Psalm 96, verses 1 and 2. I like verse 1 and 2. The whole psalm is a good one to read. And I hope that if you can, read it and pull out that Bible and read this whole psalm. But the first two verses are really wonderful. Sing to the Lord a new song. Sing to the Lord, all the earth. Sing to the Lord and bless his name. Proclaim the good news of his salvation from day to day. I think I remember when I was younger, when I went to camp, Christian camp or, vacation Bible school or the equivalent of it, I'd always learn these songs, these really wonderful Christian songs, We are one in the Spirit. We are one in the Lord. I used to love that camp song. I also, give me oil to fill my lamp. That was another one, and I still sing it every now and then. And then also sing. It was a song like that. And I remember those early days in camp, and these songs of praise, and just like as we adults now and people who come to church, we sing hymns, these wonderful hymns. The church is one foundation, holy, holy, holy. The Easter hymns. The singing is such a powerful tool that we have to help us change our mood, to help us refocus, to help us to see what we could not see when we're not singing, when we're kind of engaging in the world. And I know that singing is so very important to Christ Church. And part of the reason why I think is because we have folks who are so committed to the beauty of song, to the beauty of the music, the way we sing it in a precise way to interpret the intention of the composer. In my experience here, which has been very edifying for me, because I used to be a guy who just loved to sing, but I really didn't engage in the mechanics of singing that well, or understand the difference between pitch and all those lines and how the notes are and so forth. And I'm still learning. And part of the reason why I'm so grateful for this experience is because I've got to sit and learn with people like George Kent. And then I have this wonderful choir that really relishes the music tradition. But again, music is so wonderful because it helps us, for those of us who are really into the mechanics, the understanding the relationship between notes, and it's a science, right? But then there's the other part about music is, and that it helps us to feel, to express joy, to express uh, praise, and that's what I'm really drawn to. It whenever I sing a hymn, whether it's in I sing a song, whether it's a hymn in church or in the car, blasting my Tony Braxton or Sade or you know or one of the hip hop songs that I used to listen to from Public Enemy, it puts me in a different mood. It puts me in a different frame of experience. It lets me know that I have a choice. I don't always have to stay in one place, in one emotion. I could choose to see things differently and experience the world differently. That's what music does for me. And as I learn more about it, uh, I realize how much of a gift it is to us from God. So, my friends, if you have the opportunity, take it. Take it to sing. Don't worry about uh, whether you're good or you think you're good. But sing. Don't worry what other people think about you. Just sing. Sing because it is a gift from God. Sing when as if no one's looking, and just enjoy and relish the moment of singing. Today, uh, we have a wonderful guest. Her name is Angela Tafone, and Angela is really one of our. I was really looking forward to her because she's a college student. She's a senior college student. Her major is special education with a focus on history at Riviera University, and I was so privileged and honored that she came here to be on our show because she's our first college student, and I love that, and then of course I love her passion. She has a strong passion. She loves music. She grew up here in Westerly. She was a member of the chorus of Westerly for many years. She started singing at 8 years old, singing through the ranks until her high school graduation. And she is the youngest of four siblings, and their family is a wonderful family. Her older brother John sang in the chorus with her, and I think we'll talk a little bit about him because he's done some pieces, I believe, for Broadway, and he's a composer, and so it's a good thing to talk about him and as well, and of course we could talk about her family and how lovely they are. But Dave, would you bring over Angela and let's begin our conversation. Angela, how are you?
Good. How are you, Father?
Good. I'm so glad. And you're talking from your dorm room, aren't you?
Yes, I am currently in my dorm room up at college right now, so it's good to be back in school. You know, despite all these new restrictions, mask wearing, social distancing. A lot of classes have home and away rooms because they separate the kids because you don't have limited people. So a lot of kids are learning remotely. So the Zoom we've been using. So I think I've Zoomed about 5 times a day, 5 days a week.
Oh my God.
It's a lot of more screen time than usually, and they really want us to meet with like clubs virtually and professors, and they want us to limit contact as much as possible. So it's definitely it's much different because 3 years for the past 3 years we've had in person events like big events. Everyone was in the same room as you. People weren't learning from home, so it's much different. And I mean, hopefully next semester things get better and there's less restrictions and things can go back to like normal. But it's good to be back because as I told you earlier before this, I was learning from home myself for about 4 or 5 weeks back in March. So I had to adjust from the college life back to the home life for a little bit, and that was very difficult to do because I'm independent. I'm not used to being around mom and dad as much as anyone watching. They can attest to this. I'm used to being with my friends. I have a roommate, in the room right now. So like it's good to be with people, and I'm used to socializing. And I have my own friend group, and we hang out. We have like classes together, all the ed majors. So it was hard when we left back in March because we all had to transition to home, and I'm very close to people. So, I mean, we use technology like every day during the lockdown. So, we use Facebook, we called each other, we text, we all did a Zoom group a few times. So thank goodness for the world of technology today, because I don't know where we'd be without it. And I don't know what people did back then before this all came, before technology existed, because I don't know if we didn't have technology, it would have been much harder to keep in touch with people. You know what I mean? Like, it is so much easier. Like, I can just text a person and they get it right away. But it's definitely been good. It's different. I have to wear a mask like everywhere, but that's okay. Just for my safety, to keep people safe, and we all keep 6 feet apart. Like the dining hall, everything's in grab and go containers. There's no plates, no silverware like there used to be. So it's much different, but I'm just happy to be back, and I'm happy to be healthy and not have COVID and to be safe, and just doing what we're told to do and listening to the staff. And they're really enforcing the rules more than ever now, which is good. And they have ongoing testing each day on campus. So if people want to get tested, or people randomly get chosen, or if you feel like you need to be tested because you feel like you've been have it, or you've been near someone who has it, they have it through free testing right up at the athletic field for people. So it's great that Riviera is really taking precautions more than ever this semester. So
Great. Your mind moves. It's great. I love it. All right. So, I have 3 kids too, and I have 2 of them in college, and I know, and it seems like you're kind of like them. I know when they came back in March, it was a little rough at the very beginning, and they were dying to go back to church, to school. They were, I wish they were dying to go back to church. But they wanted to be in college, and just like you, it seemed like. And so, I know your parents are lovely people, and you love your family, but there's a sense that, as a college student, and especially you are a senior, that you want your independence. You like being on your own a little bit.
I do, and just to add, Riv really gave me the experience of, being by myself away from mom and dad. Freshman year was hard because I'd never been away from them before, and it was a new experience, 3 years ago. And over I became make my own decisions, do my own laundry, and okay, I have time management. So it really gave me that independence to say, okay, I'm ready to be my own. Like, I grew up at home, but now's the time to, go set on your own journey. And Riv, like the student life here, they make sure you have the experience. They make sure you're safe. The RAs are very good. The RD staff is great. The housing director is fantastic. Any problems, they're right there. They always, I feel very safe on campus with like public safety. So it's just good, but it's great to be back, because it's like, I call my parents every week, and sometimes my dad and I email each other. I mean, my parents really don't know how to use technology that well. They're more older, so they don't know how to text like I do. So they're not tech savvy. I mean, my dad has Facebook, but like he never uses it like I do. So it's very different too. It's good to like be back, and it's good to see people, but it's strange because everyone has a mask on now. So sometimes I forget who people are. I'm like, oh, I remember you, but I can't see your face. So it's like, I know you, but it's been like 6 months that I've seen you, so I forget your name. So sometimes I get people confused a lot, and I call them the wrong person by mistake. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, that's not you, it's the wrong person. So it's kind of funny, but I'm hoping one day, this year we really won't have to wear a mask, and we can all be, doing things together, and we can all give each other hugs and handshakes. But right now, with the way of the world, you just gotta keep distance and be safe. So
That's right. That's a very good way of thinking. What I was thinking, I was remembering your bio, right? And I know that a lot of people love you, and especially, and they know of you, you know, most likely through church, but and the high school and so forth. But you also relate to a lot of people through the chorus and your singing. How do you sing now? What's
I used to be part of a choir 2 to 3 years ago. So freshman year, my friends got me involved, and then we sang for about a year and a half. But unfortunately, we used to have a priest on campus, brother Paul, but he had cancer. He passed away a few years ago, unfortunately. So once we don't have priests anymore, we have a chapel right on campus. There used to be mass every Sunday. So now I had to go drive to the church down the street. I mean, I have a car, which is good, but it's not as convenient just literally walking out your door and walking across the street, not having to get in a vehicle and drive. So I used to sing every Sunday. No, once a month we used to do a night mass, an evening mass. We used to do a lot of Christian songs, not like the same church music that Mr. Kent does with the choir. I mean, some hymns, but we mostly did like Christian music because it was geared for college kids, the mass. Because if they come here, this type of music they would like, they would come. But if they just sang regular choir hymns, they probably wouldn't be as attracted. So we try to gear it to college kids because we wanted as many people to come to our masses. I mean, sometimes we had a lot of kids, but some months it was like kind of 1 or 2 kids, and we mostly had like the nuns, or sometimes our president, she's also a nun, Sister Paula, she used to come to the mass too. But since that's been done for 2 years, I mean, I try to keep singing, in the shower, or I try to sing or listen to music and try to sing along in the room or when I'm just getting ready. So I'm still singing, and I used to, even though I'm not in the chorus anymore, I did come back and I sang a few Summer Pops concerts. I mean, Andrew always lets me come back and sing. I go, oh, Andrew, you're gonna be home for rehearsals. Can I come sing pops? He goes, absolutely. Like, come at Monday nights and go to the adult. And then I tell you, I always make sure Pam knows, so she has music for me. So they always welcome me back to the chorus. So it's good to be singing, and even though there's no choir, I still try to sing, and I still try to, I go to church, and at church I sing a lot too. I sing along to the hymns there, so I still have that vocal singing voice, because I don't want to lose it, because I've had it for so many years, and once you lose it, you can't really get it back. So
I know, like when I'm trying to, like right now when we're at our first church services, we don't have, we have a soloist who leads the music, and so we're all, the congregation is behind a mask. We're not really allowed to sing, and I know that people do hum and they mouth the words, but we're really kind of like just receiving the music from a soloist, and the soloist that we have is just amazing. I mean, Emily Howell was our soloist when we did Saturday night service, but on Sunday morning we have another a wonderful young lady named Michaela. I forgot her last name, but she does an amazing job too. And what it's given me the opportunity to do is to kind of like look at the words, and and concentrate not so much on the actual mechanics of singing, but actually receive the music and look at the words and think about the words and the poetry of it all and how it mixes. And it often makes me, moves my way of thinking. That's what music does, doesn't it? It makes you, when you're feeling sad, it gets you up, maybe to joyful. When you're seeing one way of looking at life, all of a sudden you hear a piece of jarring music, and all of a sudden you understand, maybe a different perspective. Is that your experience too, Angela?
Yeah, music lifts me up. I feel like music gets me through difficult times in my life, like when I lose people that we love, when especially, not to dampen the mood, but when we lost, Meg last a few months ago, that music really got me through that time, or music got me through the lockdown where we were all at home, we couldn't go out for, March and April. I have to say, especially my favorite type of music is like choral music, because I grew up singing that. So I'm most used to the classical pieces that I sang up with Andrew and Mr. Kent. So that's probably my favorite type, and that really gets me going and motivated, and it lifts up my spirit. It just knows that there's going to be hope, and as to quote Ryan Saunders, who always says that we will always rise to sing again. Even though the chorus is not active right now, they will come back more than stronger than ever. And I believe the same thing. Like, music will get us through this dark time. What's going on in the world? So music does lift me up.
It's interesting how you said about choral music. The one thing I noticed about choral music that I love is that it's, by definition, it's at least from my vantage point, it's the community. It's choral music. You can't really sing it as a soloist, right? You've got to have blended voices, and they are different places. and and the beauty about it is when all the voices blend together to make a sound that's gorgeous, you know. And so at the end of the day, what choral music for me represents is the community. We bring ourselves to the community, community is there, and we make beautiful music together. And part of that is, and part of that bringing ourselves includes, you know, for me, it's a good metaphor because you bring everything about yourself, like even the sad times, you bring it to the community, and you're all helping each other, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
you mentioned Meg, right? Uh, Meg was an amazing woman, and and um, and and her death, for if we weren't a people of faith, her death would have seemed to be a tragedy, and it is sad, extremely sad, because we don't see her daily. But our Christian faith reminds us that, and the community singing that you do reminds us that her soul doesn't cease to exist. She goes on, and she's singing with God. She's singing with us in one way.
Absolutely. Totally agree with you 100% on that. You know, music uplifts us. And you know, if you want me to share about my experience with the chorus, since we're on that track anyways. I mean, the chorus I joined, you know, as I joined in 2008. I was a kid. I was 8 years old. My first experience was Ogon's up in New Hampshire, for those who don't know and watching this. And I remember getting off the bus, and you know, thank God John was still young and he was still in the chorus, and because he was like kind of looking out for me, like even though we were set, you know, the boys section, I'm in the girls sections, obviously. There were so many great girl counselors who took care of me, and you know, they knew I was young. It was my first time away from home for a long time, but the staff was so welcoming, like Pam and Stevie and Ryan and Andrew and you know, Deb Dunham and Amy. They were all great. I remember they made sure I was like taken care of, make sure I ate. They made sure that I was having the best experience that I could have, and that really, they welcomed me with open arms, and they are like my second family in the chorus. So that was my first experience, and I didn't know much about music, and then we were rehearsing. And one favorite memory, now I'm sure you remember when you went to camp, the snipe hunt that Ryan, you know, always does in his big skit. And I remember I was so scared. I didn't know what a snipe hunt was, and he did a skit, and there was costumes, and I was like, "What is this?" I was so confused. And I remember I didn't want to go, and then Ryan was like, he was younger, obviously, you know, back then, and he's like, "Oh, come on, I'll like take you." So I just remember me and him went snipe hunting, the two of us. It was right by like cabin 35 or something, right by the junior rec hall. And I remember it was like, you know, the snipe hunt, and he taught me how to do it, and he did the whole thing. And then I thought that was the greatest thing ever. And I will always remember that memory of me and him going to my first snipe hunt ever. But now, you know, once you graduate high school, they induct you into the order. He, you know, now I'm a part of that. Now I'm the one that dresses up and embarrasses myself every year at camp for the past, you know, 2 years in front of all these kids and adults. When it's kind of cool to think about, wow, that used to be me as a kid, but now I'm that adult who grew up over the years, and I'm the one that's making it fun for the children, and I'm the one that's helping out with activities, and you know, whatever Ryan always needs us to do with his stuff, right? Each year during the week, he always gives us tasks, and you know, we all come together, we check on the kids. So it's kind of cool to think about, like, wow, I grew up and now like I'm a college kid graduating. Like I'll always remember that experience as camp. So that was my first experience. And then, you know, I remember we sang the Hodie. I think it was I forget who composed it, but I remember it was my first concert. There's all these soloists there, and you know, Mr. Kent always. I used to be in the front. I used to stand next to Maggie Spano a lot. Me and her grew up together in the chorus, and Peter Camellis too. We three, and I forget, a lot of kids, we all grew up together. And I remember Mr. Cat, if you weren't paying attention in the concert, you know, I used to look up at the ceiling, or I used to look behind me in the risers, and Mr. Cat would always come up to me after every concert. He always used to call my name just to, you know, to like pay attention next time. So, you know, the next concert, I can't look around. I have to actually look right at Mr. Cat, because they always Pam always used to put me in the middle, which I
Yeah.
never liked, because you were right in front of Mr. Kent. So of course he knew what you were doing the whole concert because he was watching you. So you always had to make sure you're on your best behavior. Of course, you know, now I'm a older kid, and I have to make sure now it's my job to make sure those kids are paying attention and not fooling around during the concert. So it's kind of, I don't know, that's my first experience. He like never got mad, but he was meant well. He's very, he needs his respect, and he demanded the room, and he was tough on us, but he meant well for us. And Andrew, I also got to sing under him for not as long as Mr. Kent, because I grew up, I was on Andrew for about 5 years, but he's still wonderful. And I remember he was tough, but not as, he was more lenient and more energized and more youthful than Mr. Kent, because he was older. He's younger, and Mr. Kent I was older, but I both had great experiences with singing with both of them. I went on tour back in 2014 with the chorus. I went to Prague, Vienna, Budapest, and then I got to, go to camp, and then I got to sing all these great masterworks. I got to sing the Brahms Requiem. I got to sing the Handel's Messiah. I got to sing all these wonderful pieces with both Andrew, and I got to sing a 12th night, and then Summer Pops I always do each year. So that's a great concert. So my experience really shaped me to develop a love for the music and for the arts, and how beautiful and how amazing it is when people come, when 200 people, both young and old people, come together to sing. It's really amazing, and the solos and the orchestra, and it's just the coolest thing. I kind of miss it now that I'm away. Like when I went to college, I was like, oh, I'm gonna really miss the chorus, not singing in the concerts. But I used to come back, and I used to help usher like Christmas Pops. The staff was like, oh, we're so happy to have you ushering, and they knew I was in the chorus, and they all know me. So it's kind of cool to watch the chorus from the backstage of the hall instead of like actually being up on the rise. It's kind of cool to watch from a different perspective. It was kind of sad. I was like, oh, this is a shame. Like I should be up there singing, but I'm like in college and I can't sing that right now. But it was kind of cool to, wow, I get to kind of be the audience now for the concerts and see how they sing and watch them perform. And it's going to be nice when I can go back, and I'm planning on going back to the chorus next, the fall. I mean, hopefully they'll come back and things will be better by then. And whenever they're back, I'm gonna go right back with them. And it's gonna be nice to be in those rises again with my chorus family and to sing. So I'm looking forward to returning. I help out of whatever they need. And I'm very so active with the chorus people. Like I, see them whenever it's possible. Like, I haven't seen them since like, the lockdown. So like it's kind of nice to keep in touch with all of them. So like just a great community. I love the people very much. They're all great, especially Ryan. He does a wonderful job running the chorus. So I don't know where I'd be without the chorus, and it changed my life for the better. I could write a whole book on the chorus. I could write like so many chapters and express my gratitude and how grateful I am. And I just watched the premiere of the documentary online that happened. I know you saw me at the actual one of the drive-in, but I watched it again just to see. I want to see it on the big screen this time and see how it is differently on YouTube. So I watched it Sunday night by myself, and I go, wow, it really nourished my soul and it uplifted me. It's just, wow, it was a reminder to see myself in all those photos I was in there, and clips of me singing that. When they were filming this, we forgot the cameras were there because we were just singing like we normally would. And you go, oh, I didn't realize, like, these people were filming us all these years. So it's kind of cool to think that, wow, like I'm in that documentary now. I'm like, my story with the chorus is out there for people to see. And, I just think it's just amazing to be a part of it. I'm always thankful for it. And I know my niece Mary, you probably don't know her, but she joined the chorus a few years ago, and she's carrying on the tradition of John and I. John, as I said in my bio, he's the reason why I joined the chorus, because he really wanted me to go to camp. Like, oh, this would be a great experience for you. Come to camp with me like this year. Like, I was like, my mom was afraid of sending me because she wasn't sure I was going to be by myself alone at, up like 3 or 4 hours away from Rhode Island, and it's not nearby. But like the staff, you felt like they're supervising you perfectly. The staff, John was like, she's giving me good hands for the week. Like, I'll be there. I'll check in on her. So he did for, a few years until I got older enough to take care of myself and, help and start to help out those younger kids. So I just very, very grateful. And for those chorus people, if you're watching this Christchurch, choir people, my love goes out to you guys. And thank you for allowing me to be such part of your lives and to share that singing. So thank you.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Angela, you gave us so many wonderful examples of great leadership, right? George Andrew, Ryan, Pam, Stevie, and you named a number of other people, even your brother John. One of the things that I know is that those examples of leadership, the best way to honor them is for you to show that same type of leadership to the people that you serve, and you are doing that. And so I'm grateful for you. Thank you for all that you do, and thank you for being a big-hearted young lady with a great and bright future.
Yes.
I know you. I would love to go into. I would have loved. Next time we'll get another conversation going because your major is in special education, and
Yes.
that's a beautiful thing. We don't have time to go into it today, but I'd love to explore that a little bit more with you and
Yes.
encourage you in this because it's you're a great young lady.
Thank
Now,
you.
let me ask you a question. Now, if we got to keep it kind of brief. What insight or word of wisdom would you give to us who are all facing this challenge, whether we're
Hmm.
young or old or new with the technology or not? What insight?
One word of wisdom, I don't know. I try to think of every day, thinking ever since the pandemic happened is just have hope and pray and don't give up. Like even though things may get in the way and we're in times of turmoil, like we don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. Like things could be better for tomorrow or within a month or a year or what our life is gonna be. And just try to get through each day. Think of the positive things in life. Think of the positive people that help you get through. Like I always say my night prayers each night before I go to bed because I'm Catholic, as you know, and I go to St. Pius, down the street from you. And I think pray, have hope, don't give up. Like just thank God that you're okay. And I always thank God that, oh, thank God my family's okay. You should glad all my friends are safe and none of them have this virus, and just be thankful for life and just pray, hope, don't give up, carry on. You take it day by day. Like don't worry about, don't try to ignore what's going on in the world because this is too much and it's distracting. It's just too sad. It's too much information to take in that you can't let this. We can't really live in fear because yes, it's scary. Yes, anyone can get it, but just be safe and do your part. Just don't just focus on the positive people and the positive things and listen to positive music, like encouraging music, and talk to be around good people and just try do your duties. And like I still go through school each day. I have all this work, and I'm clubs on campus, and I still try to think, even though everything's going on, I try to ignore that and just try to live my life and try to get through senior year and try not to worry about what's going to happen for graduation. Will we have to be social distance? Will I be able to like celebrate with all these people who I want to, in the summer? Will we, be able to have like a big school event? I'm not worried about that. I'm just worried about day by day and getting through the, task that I have to do.
Good. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
God bless you. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you for having me. It was a
Bye.
pleasure and an honor to be on this show.
Okay. Thanks, Angela. She's such a passionate young lady. It's beautiful. Oh, I love that. So let's end our time together in prayer. The Lord be with you. Let us pray. Jesus Christ, you traveled through towns and villages, curing every disease and illness. At your command, the sick were made well. Come to our aid now in the midst of the global spread of the coronavirus. Heal those who are sick with the virus. May they regain their strength and health through quality medical care. Heal us from our fears, which prevents nations from working together and neighbors from helping one another. Be present with those in authority who are making hard decisions. Support the medical professionals, emergency responders, counselors and caregivers, colleges and college students, and parents and students. We ask this all in your name, Jesus. Amen. Join with me in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Friends, go out into the world, be positive, be joyful, be hopeful. sing, and spread the light of Christ. The world needs it right now.